The first Toy Story Fun Day Football is coming to Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. It's the NFL like you've never seen it before, coming in Week 4. The Falcons and Jaguars matchup live from London will also be in Andy's room as both teams transform into the world of Pixar's Toy Story. Oh, it's a very real game, but Toy Story themed. Every run, pass, and score, live and unpredictable. Plus a special halftime show featuring Duke Kaboom performing an incredible motorcycle jump. Buzz, Woody, and all their friends at Disney, Pixar, ESPN, and the NFL invite you to watch Toy Story Fun Day Football between the Falcons and Jaguars, Sunday, October 1st at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Disney Plus and ESPN Plus.
This is the Chop and Block podcast presented by DJ's Clam Shack. And what a goofy way to start the show. But it is real. I guess we'll see on Sunday. Like I said, this is the the Chop and Block podcast presented by DJ's Clam Shack with locations here in St. Augustine, Florida. But I'm going to cut to the chase real quick and throw it to our amazing executive producer and your host of the NFL show, Mr. Beasta Kane himself.
Hey, I'll send you the check after the show for saying all those nice things about me. But guys, I want to get right into this episode. I started it off with this story, Toy Story, Fun Day Football in London. The first that I know of simulation of a real football game in a Toy Story cartoon while this game is being played in London by Atlanta Falcons and the Jags. Dude, this is huge.
We're living in a simulation, man.
What happened?
So we're living in a simulation, man. It's wild.
I mean, that's pretty much what it's getting to, man. Everything is going digital, but to me, man, I think this is genius because we know that everybody don't love that pigskin like we do. But this right here is going to pull in so many more people to the game of football. I mean, I know for a fact I will be in my theater, laid back, watching this version of the game. Okay, I'm looking forward to this so much. Two-turn, what do you think about this? The NFL doing something like this?
I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, something new. I mean, get more viewers involved. It's kind of funny the two teams they decided to start this with, the Falcons and the Jaguars. The Falcons' whole program is like a toy game, so just that fit to put them on national television getting blasted.
Hey, they are 2-1. They are 2-1.
Could get. I mean, they're about to be 2-2.
No,
I don't think so.
I just think. I mean, especially younger kids, that are not completely interested in football, sitting down with their dad and mom, might pull this up and they might be a little bit more interested. I mean, I could see where it could be a good idea.
I actually think that this game right here, the simulated game, the Toy Story, is going to do better than the actual game. I really do. What do you think, Dylan?
So I have questions with it, man. Is it going to be like Toy Story characters that are enacting what's going on with the game, like live?
I think you see the two characters on the screen right here. I think it's going to actually be the football players. Just the Toy Story characters are going to be around it. Actually, I think in the game, watching the game. I don't know exactly, but it's going to be crazy, whatever it is, dude. I'm telling you, I'm really psyched up about this.
It'd be hilarious if Woody was the referee, just throws his hat for a flag or something.
Yeah, this has potential. This could be really cool.
I think so, man. And I just wanted to get you guys. Anybody else got anything on this slide before I go into the show? What do you say, Dalton?
Yeah, TJ, you didn't sound too thrilled about this here event. Let's be honest. But you are right. They picked the best two cartoonish organizations in all the National Football League. So shout out to I guess Toy Story or whoever's doing this, because they picked the best two teams for it. But you said that the viewership might be more on this. If you think about it, Jacksonville is also the United Kingdom's team. They love the Jacksonville Jaguars more than some people do here in Northeast Florida. And at one time before the Cons got involved, it seemed like the Jacksonville Jaguars could possibly go to London. So I don't know. I think there'll be a lot of viewers, especially over there. And I mean, we love waking up on Sunday morning, possible hangover from Saturday night, watching a little NFL football at 9 a.m. So I'm sure the viewership will be nice on both ends. That's all I got.
Well, all I can say is I'm upset about it now. Because if you're telling me they're going to have the characters like the two up top, I don't care about it. I was going to root for whoever had Buzz on their team.
Got that right. To infinity, baby.
So you
and beyond.
To infinity and beyond. So let's
Exactly.
move beyond this slide and get into something a little bit more gruesome that happened last week. Man, this game right here, it was an absolute nightmare. I'm talking about an absolute nightmare. And it left you, when you walked away from this game, you was like, what actually just happened? This is like ridiculous. I almost felt like Oregon and Colorado a little bit. But I had some questions about this slide I wanted you guys to reflect on. Is this more about Tua? Is this more about Tyreek? Is this more about the Broncos? Or are the Dolphins this much better than the rest of the league? What do you say, Coach?
Well, honestly, none of them to me. What I think it is, it's a combination of the offensive coordinator that nobody talks about, Frank Smith in Miami, and Tua, because you got a quarterback and an offensive coordinator that are on the same page right now. And when you got something like that, dude, it's deadly. Tyreek just puts a different element to the whole thing. But I'm looking at the offensive coordinator because Miami hadn't had an offense ranked inside the top 10 since 1995. We're talking Dan Marino.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So this offensive coordinator came in his first year last year and put them inside the top 10. This year, he's got them number 1. So I look at the story that everybody should be talking about in Miami is Frank Smith. How long will y'all be able to hold on to a Frank Smith? Because what he's doing right now with those two weapons, all he's got to do is what? Go somewhere and draft 2 more weapons. So I think the story that everybody's missing right now in Miami, the OC.
Dalton.
Well, let's be honest. One of our viewers actually commented how I feel about this. Shout out Harrison Barnett. Much love if you're still watching. He's exactly right. This is more about the Broncos, okay? You have a guy in Mike McDaniel, okay, the Dolphins head coach. He was the ball boy when he was a youngster for the Denver Broncos. I believe it's like 2004 or something like that. He wanted to coach for the Broncos. They wouldn't even interview him. So this seemed like a revenge tour, and he absolutely annihilated them. I seen a meme where they said in the fourth quarter the Dolphins was up so much that Mike McDaniel was hanging out with the fans calling plays up there. That's what it seemed like. I mean, it seemed like going down to the Coosa Valley Fair and just finding somebody out there to call plays. They could have. The Broncos are so bad. Russell Wilson, he's going to be on Dancing with the Stars next year. Let's be honest. He ain't going to have a job if he don't clean it up. And Sean Payton, after all those bold comments he made about last year's coach, I'll be honest, I don't know if he's worth the money. It almost seems like maybe Drew Brees kept Sean Payton around long or longer than what we thought.
Bingo.
Sean Payton kept Drew Brees alive. So this is all about the Broncos. We know the Dolphins are great. We know Tua is, playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the MVP. And we know Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. And let's give Jalen Waddle credit. We've had some heated arguments about Jalen Waddle, but the Broncos, Coach Price, if they ain't dumpster juice, I don't know who is.
Two turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna build kind of off what JP said. I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. As far as he was talking about the offense coordinator, I mean, it's that, but you also got a head coach who's an offensive guy. So you got the combination of the offense coordinator and the head coach with just weapons everywhere. The Dolphins have drafted extremely well since McDaniels came there. And Jalen Waddle didn't even play last game, guys. And you have one guy to key in on. And how many times do we see Tyreek catching the ball with no one within 10, 15 yards of him? I mean, only Mike McDaniel and the OC could do that. The biggest thing for Miami to me is they utilize motion better than anyone in the league to get their looks before they make a check. Every single time, if you know, especially on third downs, when they put a guy in motion, they look back and make a check, and it seems like there's somebody open every single time. It's like they know what's coming before the defense even knows what they're running. And, yes, the Broncos are horrible, but Miami could have put up 90 in this game. I mean, they had 70 with 10 minutes left. It wasn't like it was, yeah, they're just that bad. No, I think Miami's just that good. I mean, you look at the numbers. Tua's only been sacked one time this year. He's getting the ball out way quicker than he has his entire career. And I guess in jiu-jitsu classes are working for his following because I ain't seen him start throwing up sign language yet. But you also got to look, their running backs are going nuts. And Mostert's not even supposed to be the starter. Jeff Wilson's supposed to be their number one, and he's on the IR. So, I mean, I couldn't even imagine what happens when they get him back, and you got him and Mostert and what's his name from Akane from A&M. I mean, they're just loaded everywhere you can get. And then you got Jalen Ramsey coming back before too long. The Dolphins are getting scarier by the week.
Wow. Let me give it to Havoc to set all this stuff straight.
Well, guys, I mean, it's a combination of everything. I mean, everyone, like Steve made some valid points, Tony, but to me, we have to give Tua credit. He's got 8 touchdown passes and 1 interception. I mean, the touchdown to interception ratio is phenomenal. He's done an outstanding job taking care of the football. He's getting rid of the ball on time. He's not taking sacks. He's distributing not just to Tyreek, but effectively throughout the whole team and throughout the whole offense. Now, it's not just Tua, though. I'm aware this is a great team we're talking about, and whoever predicted them to win the division in the preseason looks like a genius right now because you're executing on all cylinders. And like you guys said, Jalen Ramsey isn't even back yet, but think about this offense, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, and Tyreek has been dominating. Nobody can cover Tyreek. Then you've got Eric Waddle on the other end. I mean, guys, realistically, this is a team that can win 13 to 14 games. And if anyone wants to dispute that, I mean, let's just look at the tape. I mean, they're just scoring points at will. I don't honestly, I can't blame this one on the Broncos because, yeah, 70 points is too many. But, I mean, let's be real, guys. Tua has just been shredding every defense he's played so far.
He started out 17 for 17 in that game.
Yeah, I mean,
Dylan, surely you don't think this is about Tua, do you?
Oh no shot, not a bit. Come on, no, it's crazy. The way I look at Mike McDaniel is he's like that young kid when you go back home for Thanksgiving, you play that young cousin. He's a little nerdy. You go play him in Madden, he gets the best team and he scores 120 on you. That's who Mike McDaniels is. He has all the best pieces. And like Coach was saying earlier, when your quarterback is an extension of your OC and your head coach, and they're just dialed in, dude, you can't be stopped, especially when you have the weapons they do.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I don't know if it's more about the Broncos or the Dolphins, but it ain't about Russell Wilson. Go look at the stats. After this show, when you get a chance, go look at the stats on passing percentage, passing yards. You'll be surprised where Russell Wilson at. I don't care if you got Tom Brady. If you give away 70 points, you ain't going to win. That's just how it is. Fellas, I know all of you guys not heard a little bit about the Cash Money Millionaires, baby. Juvenile said, back that thing up. So I have a question. Which backup is earning cash money? Starting at the top, Dalton.
So this one's tough for me. My answer made me Google my answer to make sure he was actually a backup. And he is considered a backup. You might not agree, but to me, the best backup in the NFL right now is Jalen Carter. This dude on the Eagles defensive line, okay? Because, I mean, that's the thing. He's listed a backup because Jordan Davis is the starter and some, depth charts. Like, it's a weird thing. He's not – I don't think he's the first pick on the defensive line. But if you watch the game on Monday night, my heavens, that dude is all over the field. He was an absolute steal. There's no way he should have went that far down to the Eagles. And every NFL team that didn't pick Jalen Carter should be ashamed.
Falcons.
Wish they did. I wish they did now.
Like we talked about earlier in the season, those Philadelphia Bama Crimson Bulldogs, mercy. Yeah. I mean, if they don't win the Super Bowl or they're not your favorite in the Super Bowl right now, I don't know. I could understand if you say Miami or whatever, but they got to be up there. They have looked great.
So you saying Philly should be the Super Bowl pick?
I'm just saying they're in the argument.
Defense wins championship.
Where they are in the league.
They were there last year.
That's what I'm saying. They're if you say it, hey, I agree. But there's some other teams in there that you can argue. But Jalen Carter, this man threw a Mike Tyson right hand and punched the ball out into the next century. I mean, I feel bad for the ball. This man
I know I'm a homer. I know I'm a homer, but Jalen Carter is a top 5 defensive tackle right now.
Dude, it sure does seem that way. Dude, I'm not joking with you either. The way let's be honest, the Buccaneers really didn't play that bad. The Eagles' defensive line, when you can rush 4 people and drop everybody back, or 3 and get pressure in the National Football League, Tom Brady's not beating you. And Baker Mayfield sure as hell ain't beating you. And I've given Baker a lot of credit. He didn't play that bad, to be honest. But Jalen Carter's my pick. That man is unreal.
Leads the NFL.
He could change the NFL.
Leads the NFL in QB hurries from the defensive tackle spot, and he gets like 25 snaps a game.
That is absolutely correct. I heard that stat today, and I forgot about it. Thank you for bringing that up. You saved me.
Okay, Dylan, shoot.
I'm gonna kind of twist it a little bit. They aren't currently a backup, but soon they will be, and he will be the highest paid backup. That is Zach Wilson. Very soon he will be the backup for the Jets. I think they signed, was it Trevor Siemian today?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I'd have made that move to be the guy, but I think like at some point that locker room's gonna turn. There's already rumblings that they're already sick and tired of him. They'll make that switch soon.
I don't blame them.
They probably didn't want to get anybody decent because they're probably tanking. You got to think about that too.
A lot of quarterbacks to go get.
You know what I mean? What's up, Coach?
Well, I'm going to stick with the quarterback side as a backup because that's the only position on the field to me where I consider it be a backup. I might steal it, but that means that once again, that's quarterback, OC, head coach on the same page, TJ.
I guarantee it.
But my guy is the backup, and I think he actually should be the starter. And that's Andy Dalton with the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
He came out one ball game. He had 361 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
In 2 ball games, Bryce Young's got 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Bryce Young is a better athlete than Andy Dalton will ever be. But Andy Dalton's been an NFL quarterback for a while.
Long time.
I think what they need to do is they need to let Andy Dalton ride this right now. Let Bryce sit over there and see it. because he's already a bummed ankle in 2 ball games. So putting him back out there, trying to get him to start all over and figure it out again with a bummed ankle, now you're trying to end his career. So I look at Bryce Young is worth too much money and he's too talented for you to go take an organization like the Carolina Panthers and stick him in the fire that quick. Let Andy Dalton ride this out for a while. Let Bryce learn. Give him some playing time. It doesn't matter if y'all are winning or you're losing. In the fourth quarter, you need to have some Bryce series just to see what he's picking up throughout the ball game. And then you need to focus on free agency and a draft and get that boy some linemen and get him some weapons. And Carolina Panthers will make a real big statement in the NFC South because it's not that strong of a conference to have that kind of quarterback in that conference. You know, you can name all the other ones, the Saints, the Falcons, Baker Mayfield, okay, Bryce Young. Who would you take? Bryce Young. But what good is it to have Bryce Young who can't stay on his feet because he's running all night and throwing picks because he don't have time to even read it and hadn't understood yet that in the NFL, what you see is not what you're getting. He need to be able to sit on the sideline, let Andy Dalton show him how it's done. I was impressed with the way he walked and followed Andy Dalton around throughout the ball game, but Dalton was looking at it like, get away from me. You're acting like a little step brother right now. No, dog, put him under your wing. You're not the guy. Bryce Young is the guy. He's the better quarterback. He's the best thing that y'all going to have for that organization going forward. Y'all hadn't had a quarterback that made a splash in that organization since Cam Newton was there and he first did his thing. So right now, what you need to do, sit Bryce down, let him be the backup with the money, put Andy Dalton in, and let this young man learn and watch what happens with the Carolina Panthers.
Well, let me tell you, I totally agree because I was watching that game last week and I was like, there's no way that the Red Rooster should not be playing. He made that offense go. And I'm telling you right now, I'll take Baker Mayfield over Bryce Young right now. He just don't look good out there. He looks like I'm not saying Baker Mayfield is good, but he's better than Bryce is right now.
Even if he was on the same team with Baker Mayfield, I do the same. Put Baker in. He needs to learn. He's too good of a quarterback not to be able to get in there.
When's the last time any of you saw a quarterback line up under the wrong? He didn't even line up under the center.
Who was that? I remember one.
Bryce Young did this last week. He lined up away from the center.
I did not see that.
Yeah, go look it up online. One of his players like get over and listen,
the running back.
Yeah, to get over. He wasn't even in the right position. If you do that as a quarterback, you don't need to be out there.
And it also takes let's be honest, it takes an experience to be an NFL quarterback. There's a lot of different things going on. And that's why I agree, Coach. Andy Dalton, this man is a proven veteran. He's honestly played well everywhere he's went. You know, I think when you look at backup quarterbacks, you think of people like him, Colt McCoy, who else?
AJ McCarron.
Patrick. You know, there's a couple guys that they've played for 20 different teams and have done honestly well with the situation given. I mean,
yeah.
I agree, Barry. I think Bryce does look he's definitely not settled in. Let's be honest.
Bryce was a great quarterback at Alabama. He did some really good things. He never took Alabama to the promised land. And I think it was more about Bryce than anybody. I'm sorry.
Or because of the two guys who tore their ACLs, but whatever.
Well, whatever you want to say, Bryce Young, we have seen rookies come in the league and at least be able to line up behind the center. What do you say, Tony, on this subject?
Well, I do want to build on JP real quick before I pick mine. I agree with that. I don't know why the NFL's gotten away from letting rookies sit for 6 games to a full season. I think talent-wise, Bryce is the more talented quarterback than any quarterback in that division, just straight talent. Obviously, Andy Dalton, like we said, he's a good quarterback. He's been good for years. He just sucks in the playoffs. That's all. He's a choke artist in the playoffs. I don't even think the dude's ever threw a touchdown in the playoffs. Like, it's bad when A.J. Green's first career postseason touchdown pass came from A.J. McCarron. That's how bad Andy Dalton was in Cincinnati in the playoffs. But Andy Dalton is not a bad quarterback at all. He'd be a great guy to learn from for a year. Like, I think you throw in guys like Bryce, Anthony Richardson especially, throwing these guys straight into the fire, I think you're just setting them up for failure. And like we said, I don't think it's all Bryce. I mean, like I said, their line's terrible, but he does not look comfortable at all. But I'm glad JP didn't steal my pick. I am staying with the quarterback. The guy is a backup. The guy has actually basically been fighting to stay on roster since he's been in the league. We know him because he's one of the smartest guys to ever be in NCAA. He was an aerospace engineer at the University of Tennessee. My backup, he's going to start this full season, but my backup earning the most money right now is Joshua Dobbs.
It's
For
good.
the Arizona Cardinals. This man has been barely making rosters. And let's be real. The Cardinals cut Colt McCoy, a veteran backup, specifically to tank. And Josh Dobbs is like, and he's had them leads in the second half of all three games so far.
Yeah.
They blew like a 28-0 or 28-7 lead to the Giants.
Yep.
Or something like that. In the first game, they had to lead the whole game. And then he comes out and beats. I said it last week on the show. Y'all heard me say it. I didn't believe that smoke with the Cowboys. And he comes out and beats the best team in the league to some people. I never thought that. But he beats them. Straight out beats them. And then to make the trolling worse, this man goes live on Twitter into the Cardinals shop and says, you know what? I'm going to go build my own jersey. He goes, you can look this up. He goes to the thing to build a jersey. He goes, Cardinals, jersey size large, players, clicks it. They don't even have the guy's name in the computer. They don't have his name or number in the computer. The starting quarterback. He can't even make his own jersey. He's like, guys, I know I ain't been here long, but can y'all at least hook me up with a custom jersey? Joshua Dobbs is earning some money, and he's never going to be a starter in this league. Don't get me wrong. But he's earning to be a valuable backup going forward for some team. So he might finish 7-8 year, maybe even 10-year career as a backup. But he is definitely earning money right now, and he looks good. Throwing to nobodies.
Real quick, you said that Dobbs will never be a quarterback in the league. It depends. Now, if he starts winning, just like the same thing can be said for the Red Rooster, let him start winning, which we know it's not going to happen, but we've seen where these backups, even though they are shaky backups, start winning and start playing real good, and they do something great, and the people don't want them to go. The people, the fans want them to stay out there, and sometimes they'll do that. What do you say, Havoc?
Well, no, it's funny you said that. Geno Smith was one of those backups, but mine's actually a different one. People are probably going to fall asleep here, but I got to go with Walker Little, the left tackle for the Jaguars, because Cam Robinson suspended for 4 games, and Walker Little's done a great job of protecting Trevor Lawrence's blind side. Now, a lot of people are going to write that off because it's boring. Oh, offensive line, who cares? Fantasy points. But the left tackle is one of the most important positions in football. And Walker Little is currently a backup, but I think he's proven he can play. Last year he got reps on the right tackle, and now he's had successful reps on the left tackle. And that's a valuable position, guys. Let's be honest, like Steve likes to say, let's be honest. The most valuable positions now in offense, we could make the argument, quarterback, wide receiver, offensive tackle.
Yes,
I think tackle second.
Tackle second. Even more proof there. So
yeah, I have to agree. You don't know how important it is until you don't have one.
Yep.
Exactly.
Did I get you, Dylan, on this one?
Oh yeah, you got me.
All right, fellas, we're gonna go to something that's really important. Taylor Swift. There is nothing more important than Taylor Swift, and y'all can't tell me now. When they talk about Taylor Swift is better than Michael Jackson, they smoking something out of the dumpster juice. Okay, nothing is better than Michael Jackson. But I will say that this girl, she blew up the NFL last week just by going to a game and being in the press box. Nobody cared about Travis Kelce. They cared that Travis Kelce was with Taylor Swift. But the question is, besides Taylor and Travis, what is the best duo in an NFL? I'm gonna start with you, Coach.
Well, this ain't gonna be no shocker because it was mentioned earlier. But my duo, whenever they decide to really make it a duo, an official duo, and not trying to, play tabloids and Photoshop and shoots and stuff like Travis and Taylor is doing. But when you give me a real duo, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, when those two guys are on the field at the same time, the entire NFL is in trouble. And then we're going to stick Nolan Smith on the outside and the Kobe Dean in the middle. And eventually you're going to have a DB from Alabama and a DB from Georgia. Dude, I'm telling you right now, the Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis is a duo. That's where the definition dynamic duo, that's where it'll come from. Those two boys right there, I'm telling you, it's like preparing a meal. You got to have the salt, you got to have the pepper, or the flavor going to come out flat. You got to have them two on the field at the same time.
Unless you're Cajun like me, you got some of that Old Bay working for you. What's up, Dylan?
I think I was just gonna go on top of what JP said. I think we all. I don't know if it was a pick or a punt, but they had to start the drive on the 1 yard line. I think we all knew that was about to be a safety when Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis just there. Carter threw down one guy and allowed the linebacker to run free, and Jordan pushed two people 3 yards back into the end zone. It was insane. Best duo, it's on the graphic, man. They're gonna go down as the best duo of all time. It's Mahomes and Kelsey. I looked up the stats. They have combined for 7,600 yards and 65 touchdowns. I don't know what Tom Brady and Gronk's numbers are, but they will be broken by those two.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm gonna have to see what Tony got to say about this.
I mean, it's tough, man. There's two of them. Obviously, Tyreek and Tua would be an easy one to go with, but there's two different duos for me that are neck and neck, and arguably the best in the league. It's Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, and healthy Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Those two duos, because when they're going, you can't stop either one of them. What did Justin Jefferson's broke the record for most receiving yards through 2 or 3 seasons of anyone ever. Broke Randy Moss's record.
Slow down 1 second. Joe Burrow and Chase, and Joe Burrow threw for 82 yards in a whole game, and that's the best duo in the NFL. Come on now.
No, I said beforehand. I said when they're going. I said these two guys are neck and neck, and arguably, or these four guys arguably. When Joe Burrow and Jamar, you seen it the other night against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
When him and Jamar Chase, because let's be real about it, Joe Burrow is hurt bad. As long as he didn't have to move, he was making throws on the money. Anytime he had to move out of the pocket or try to run, he looked uncomfortable. But once Jamar Chase got going, that game was over. They knew the ball was going to him. They couldn't stop it. It's the same thing with the Vikings. If Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins are on the same page, you're not stopping it. I mean, I don't know what you do about it. I mean, you double cover them. Then you got the kid from USC at Minnesota that's going to beat you deep too. And then same thing in Cincinnati. You got T. Higgins. So, I mean, pick your poison. There's a bunch of teams in the league that have great duos, and they also have a great receiver too if you try to shut them down. Like I said, so you got Cincinnati, Minnesota, you got Miami, all these guys with receiver twos that would be receiver ones at other NFL teams.
Yeah. Havoc, do you agree with this mess?
Well, he's not wrong, but I'm going to go in a different direction because I'm referring to this year. And this year, I got to go with Tua and Tyreek. And the reason is, I mean, Tua, I said this earlier, 8 touchdown passes to 1 interception, and they just scored 70 on Denver. And Tyreek's receiving stats, guys, here they are. 25 receptions for 412 yards and 4 touchdowns. And we've played 3 games.
Not to interrupt you, Havoc. Tua's already over the 1,000-yard mark passing in 3 games.
Exactly. So, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's Tua and Tyreek. And, guys, I've been saying this for 2 weeks now. we've got to put Tua on the MVP front runner list. We've got to.
Dalton.
Well, I'm glad my answer is different. I think I'm going with these two guys just because, as a New England Patriot fan, I think they've beaten us the last 6 matchups. It's the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, and Stephon Diggs.
That's another one.
They are absolutely, when they're going, it honestly seems like they could beat anybody in the NFL. I mean, they had the Kansas City Chiefs beat, and what was it, like 20 some odd seconds left, and they go down the field and kick a game time field goal to send it to overtime. The rest is history. But the Buffalo Bills, when they are rolling with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, it is something to see. It's funny to me that, like, if Diggs is covered up, it seems like Allen just takes over and runs. I mean, that man is like crazy running the football. I mean, he's dangerous.
You got the other deep threat with Gabe Davis too, though. That's what I'm saying. Another guy can beat you vertically.
All the teams that y'all mentioned, it seems like there's another guy. You're going to be almost say it's a triple threat, not just a duo. But yeah, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, to me, when they're rolling, it leaves a sore spot in my heart.
Did I get you, Dylan?
Yep.
Too many of you guys. Let me just say it like this. Yes, it is Tyreek and Tua. And it's because this guy right here is the cheat code. If any of you used to playing the game Contra, you know how you have to do up, down, right, left, A, B, and you get all them extra man. This is what this guy right here is. And you can say whatever you want to. I know y'all going to say all these different things, but that's not a player, past or present, that you're going to take when he's when he's an option. Coach said he's wide open. Tua's got all these passing yards, all of this going on, all of that. It's because can nobody guard Tyreek Hill? And he opens up everything else for the Dolphins. What do you guys think? Is Tyreek Hill the GOAT? Dalton.
Well, he could very well be the GOAT. He could, but he's not right now. To me, I think there's 2 guys that you have to put, at least on my list, the top 2, I've watched in my lifetime that are the GOAT in wide receivers. Randy Moss. Randy Moss is something that was created by God, or maybe like one of those semi-God human-like people, and he just fell from the heavens. All 6'5" of him, or however tall he is. Randy Moss, let's be honest, he's got to be the greatest of all time. And Tyreek could be. But also, I'll put 2 more guys that just, to me personally, I have them over Tyreek Hill. It's Mr. Ocho Cinco himself. When Ocho Cinco was in his prime, man, this guy had Andy Dalton throwing to him and dude from USC, Carson Palmer. I mean, you heard him on the NFL mic'd up. He said, just throw it to me. I'm open. I'm always open. And I believe him. He is always open. Unless Ray Lewis is coming across the middle, because we saw what happened on that.
I remember Ocho Cinco he said, I could be in the phone booth with 2 guys and I'm still open.
That's right. And he is absolutely right. And then you got to go with Terrell Owens. He was unbelievable. To me, I mean, those are just 3 that they polarized the game. They changed the game, in my opinion. But Tyreek Hill could very well be the greatest of all time. I just think those 3 guys, to me, they're at the top of that list.
Tony.
I agree with one of those for Dalton. But how do you leave out Calvin Johnson?
Yep.
That's the greatest receiver I've ever seen touch a field.
Yep.
That man was always open. That dude is a robot. And he's smart. He went to Georgia Tech. You ain't outsmarting him. You ain't out physicaling him. He's got hands for days. Calvin Johnson's my GOAT, regardless of era. He's the greatest receiver of all time, in my opinion. There's a lot of greats, man. I don't think Tyreek right now is a top 8. I'll say top 8 receiver all time at the moment. I think he has a chance to be in there, but when you look at just, yes, he's unguardable speed-wise, but if you're just talking about pure athletic ability and having to stop a guy in multiple ways, I just don't think he's up there yet. Could he? Yes, but he's also had injury problems. So you never know. Like last year was Tyreek's first year fully healthy, where he played a full season without having an injury, like an ankle injury or a hammy, where he was out 3 to 5 weeks.
Hey, I don't want to hear nothing, no Alabama fan discounting anybody about injury. You sit up on this show for an hour talking about how good Tua is. Stop it.
Okay, well, look, I'm going to disprove something real quick, Mr. LSU fan, since I seen it today. You know how many games Joe Burrow's missed in his NFL career? 8. You know how many Tua is missing in his NFL career? 8.
Stop it.
Swallow that clam chowder.
Nobody in their mind thinks that Tua is more durable than Joe.
Oh, the clam chowder.
Joe Burrow's missed more than 8.
Nope. They've missed 8 games combined, each of them. And if he's missed more than 8, that makes it even better.
He tore his ACL his rookie year.
I don't know when that was.
Like early on.
Yeah, we'll have to fact check that. What do you say, Havoc?
So, real quick. So, you're saying Joe Burrow is less durable than Tua? Roll Tide.
Well, one of them had major head injuries. One of them had career-ending near injuries.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing that I will say. We've been talking about Tua a lot. Is everything good now, and he's the potential MVP. He is. I give him that. He's doing great. To me, the MVP should be Tyreek and not Tua, because you take Tyreek off that team and everything changes. Hope we don't get to see that, but I bet money on that. But the best thing going for Dolphins right now is the Tua is standing. He's still standing up. He's still standing up. He hasn't been hit yet, and we hope he don't, because I do love what I'm seeing out of them. But we all know it takes one hit and it's over. What's up, Havoc?
Well, as far as Tyreek Hill, I'll say he's the best of his generation. But if you're talking about GOAT, I still got to go with Jerry Rice as number 1 above him, then Randy Moss. Now, I will say this about Tyreek Hill. I was going to say, I want to say Terrell Owens was better, but after watching Tyreek Hill and Terrell Owens in the same era, or not in the same era, but different eras, I can tell you this. I've seen Tyreek Hill have more longer, as in 50-yard touchdowns, than I ever saw from Terrell Owens. Not to take anything away from Terrell Owens, but he was not the big play game breaker that Tyreek Hill is. As in, what I mean by that is I mean long touchdowns. I don't mean red zone touchdowns where you throw a fade route and they moss somebody. I'm talking about 50-yard touchdowns or longer. Nobody, and people can fact check this, no one I've seen have more than Tyreek Hill. Big, long, big play touchdowns. So I would rank Tyreek Hill, I would say 3rd after Jerry Rice and Randy Moss.
And that's huge to have him 3rd after those 2 guys, when you consider, I don't think he's played but 6 or 7 years. And for the Ocho Cinco comment, I looked it up. Ocho runs a 4.57, and Tyreek runs a 4.29. That's a big difference, and that matters. What's up, Coach?
Well, not only that, the guys that y'all named, they're ahead of him. You never even talked about Michael Irvin, Chris Carter, Steve Largent, Tasker. It's all kind of receivers out there that are the GOAT. But let me show you where the human side of it and the animal side of it comes together. All right, you got a mother goat, right? What is she called? A nanny.
Yeah.
Then you got the father goat walking around with the big kahunas in the pen. What do y'all call him? We all know him.
The Billy.
You call him a Billy. It's a Billy badass everywhere you go. But when a nanny and a Billy have a baby, what do they call it? A kid.
Yep.
Break it
And
down.
if she's got two, they're twins. So to me, Tyreek is not the GOAT, but I'm telling you right now, damn it, he's that kid.
Man, this
Hey.
is another classic segment by
Hey.
Coach Price, brought to you by the dumpster juice segment that's going to be coming up later. I
Flip
just
that.
learned about the nannies and the Billies and the kids. Man, I'm educated. What's up, Dylan?
Man, I think everybody's done hit it. If we're talking statistically, no one's ever catching Jerry Rice. I just looked it up. He has 23,000 career receiving yards. Tyreek has 9. He would have to get 14,000 more yards. Say he played 7 more years, he'd have to average 2,000 a year. So to me, and I get it's not all stats because I'm with TJ. I think Megatron just athletically is the GOAT. If he wouldn't have stopped playing, he would have went down as that. But yeah, Tyreek's got a long way to go, in my opinion, to get to that conversation.
Well, I'll just say this. I think he's the most dangerous person ever in open field. He's scary.
Can't tackle him.
You know, I mean, he saved Mahomes, and he's carrying to her. I don't care what nobody say. He's carrying to her.
Hey, I'll just throw a little stat to you. You know, all the Tua hate, and I'll just add on to it. Those 4 passing touchdowns, 3 of them were behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's it.
Also 3 of those passing touchdowns were inside the 10-yard line. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Throw it 10 yards in the back of the end zone? No, you take what's open the defense gives you. When he was backed up, he threw it 70 yards for a touchdown. So I can't help it. The running back got 50 yards down the field, Dylan. That's like when you ran it to the 1 and then I snuck it in. I got all the glory, didn't I? But you got it there.
That's exactly. I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what's happening in Miami. That's exactly what's happening in Miami. You just said it took a Bama fan to explain it. Guys, I watched some film on this guy, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had saw this guy before, and when I first, he kind of snuck up on me, and when I first heard about him, I thought to myself, and this has been 100% honest, man, don't be telling me about no white running back in the NFL. I don't want to hear nothing about that. This is all hype. We already know it's going to take a brother to be in that role and all of that. It's similar to the experience of what black quarterbacks have received in the league as well. Yep. And here's the thing. We get so comfortable with what something is supposed to look like that we always expect it to look like that. And if it doesn't, it's not real. It's some type of gimmick. Well, Mr. Mack is not a gimmick.
Nope.
He's one of the most dynamic players that I ever seen in my life. And when you get down to talking about just football itself, take all the stats away, take all that stuff away that we can argue about forever. This man can run the ball. He can catch the ball. Damn it, he can even throw the ball. He is a Swiss Army knife. And just to think that Purdy has him and all of that other stuff and the coach, y'all talk about the Georgia Bama thing, the Philly thing. Don't forget about San Francisco. This team, to me, looked like the favorite to win it all. But Mac, is he losing yards because of the race? Dalton.
You know, I'm glad you picked me first because I think somebody's going to steal this. The only thing that makes me think about this is the movie The Longest Yard and Stone Cold Steve Austin. When he takes his helmet off, he said, "That's how a white man runs a football." And you know what? I'm glad that we finally got one. Okay, we finally got one.
Yeah.
And by God, this man can run. Hey, I think what happens here, I don't think it's about the race. I think everybody respects Christian McCaffrey. They did when he was with the Panthers, and he runs like a Panther. Let's be honest. What happens here, okay, is Havoc brought it up in the pregame show backstage. This is a West Coast thing to me. I don't think he gets credit enough because we are East Coast guys, and we just don't get to see the 49ers that much. Yeah, we get to watch them. You know, Scott Van Pelt comes up at midnight, and we watch a little highlight of the 49ers, and we see Christian McCaffrey. We see the stat line, but we don't get to see the whole film unless we dive in. I think that has more to deal with it than the race. You know, he gets credit. I don't think he gets enough, but I truly think it's a regional demographic issue, not necessarily his race. I mean, if you think about it, the Carolina Panthers, were they ever on primetime football? No. You know, and now the 49ers, we just don't get to watch them. Unless you have the Sunday ticket like Barry in his movie theater over there, you know, you ain't getting to watch the 49ers. So that's my point. Christian McCaffrey, this man's unreal. But yeah, he does remind me of Stone Cold Steve Austin in Longest Yard. That's all I can think of.
Dalton, there's a lot of people that we don't see in prime time. I know you're not buying this, Tony. What's the deal?
I don't think it has anything to do with the race because I don't care what nobody says. Somewhere down that bloodline, there's some melanin in Christian McCaffrey's blood. That man look, and I'm a former McCaffrey hater. Like, I didn't think he was going to be anything in the NFL. I thought he was a great athlete, but I thought he was too small. And that's what's crazy. The two biggest misconceptions that we've had was from the same draft class. Derrick Henry was going to be a linebacker. He's not a running back in the NFL, and Christian McCaffrey wasn't going to do nothing in the NFL. Both of them shut it down quick. But this is the thing with McCaffrey, man. We just talked about it. I'm not penalizing his ability because we know what he can do when he's on the field. The problem is, how often is he going to be on the field? 2 out of the past 3 seasons, he's not played more than 7 games. Last year, once again, was his 2022. He played 16 games. But the 2 years before that, 7 games and 3 games. If he's healthy, he is the most dynamic back in the league of anybody. I don't care if Nick Chubb was healthy. I don't care if Derrick Henry is back to old Henry. I don't care who it is. He is more dynamic than anybody, whether it's between the tackles, on the outside, catching the ball, running routes. He could be a slot receiver.
Yeah.
He is healthy. He is the best running back in the game.
Yep. Regardless
of race. That's a bad man. He's whiter than rice.
Whiter than rice. You heard it first from Two Turn. What's up, Havoc?
Well, I want to start this one by saying both. When he first came out of Stanford, I will say yes. He was stereotyped because of his race. Now, what I'll say is it's because of the history of Stanford running backs and the white running back in general. You got to keep in mind, Toby Gerhart was a former Stanford running back and had a real slow 40 time. So I think at first, before Christian McCaffrey, first of all, ran his 40, which was a 4.4, by the way, once he did that, then he changed people's perception. Now, before he ran his 40, yes, he was stereotyped as, maybe, hey, what's this white guy doing here? But after he ran his 40 and people got into the research, his dad was Ed McCaffrey, played for the Denver Broncos for 12 to 15 seasons, and his mom was actually a track star. So Christian McCaffrey has a fantastic bloodline to play football. And it happens that he has the skills to play running back as well. And whoever doubted him and thought it was because of race has been proven wrong. But I want to say it was before he got to the NFL that he was judged on race. After the NFL, no, it's based on what Steve and I and all of us talked about beforehand. A lot of us don't get to watch Christian McCaffrey. I've seen him play a handful of times myself. I've had to go back and watch all 22 tapes to watch Christian McCaffrey.
Man, Havoc always brings the numbers.
Yep.
Havoc, man, I know you are a wrestler and all of that, dude. But, man, you could stand alone beside John Madden, bud, because you be bringing the noise and it is
Boom.
100% convincing.
What?
All what come out of your mouth. It might be a bunch of crap, dude, but it sounds so right. What's up, Bryce?
Well, first of all, Larry Zonka, Mike Allstott wouldn't want to tackle either one of them white boys, so I ain't trying to hear that. But this is what you got with Christian McCaffrey. Havoc already hit on it with the bloodline. But this guy is the best all around running back in the NFL. All around. Whether he's, and this is not all around saying, oh, he can do a check down or, you know, you can throw him a little screen or a dump pass. No, this man can literally run routes. His dad taught him that. His mom's crisp with the running, so she taught him form and balance. That's the reason why everything that he does, it looks so smooth. It's natural to him. But McCaffrey is the best running back in the league. And the reason why, not only because of that bloodline, your offense, your head coach is one of the sickest minded offensive gurus in the league.
Preach,
and when I say that, Shanahan can run the exact same play in 5 different formations in 3 different motions.
And it works every time.
And it works every time. He don't have a playbook that's like huge. He literally calls the same plays, and he does the Charlie Brown special. He gets everybody around, gets a stick in his hands, and he draws up motions in the dirt, and he goes out and he kill you with it. So when you got a coach like that, it goes all the way back to how it is with Tua and his offensive coordinator and his head coach. McCaffrey is the best weapon possible to make Shanahan's offense work. He tried it in Atlanta, and it got him so far. What was the running back? Freeman?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Devontae
McCaffrey is doing everything that Freeman did when he had Freeman and was calling plays in Atlanta. The only difference is he can put McCaffrey out like a wide receiver. So when it comes to Shanahan, if you're a skilled player, dude, he's got plays designed for you, and I'm talking about 10 of them.
Man, y'all boys got me so crunk. Got me wanting to watch some San Fran ball. Because I'm telling you, man, I'm a football fan, and I like what I'm saying, man. That stuff just gives me energy. That's what I'm saying. I know Eagles look good, man. They are good. But don't you think it may come down to those 2 guys? And we'll get into that a little bit later. What's up, Dylan?
Yeah, I think race is thrown out the window once you get cooked on the field. It don't matter what the hell what you look like. If you get cooked, you're gonna respect the dude.
Once he hits you,
and I want all the success. I want all the success and health and happiness for Christian McCaffrey because he is my number 1 pick in fantasy, and I need him to carry me because unfortunately my quarterback is Justin Fields.
Dumpster juice.
Coming later. What McCaffrey reminds me of, he's a grown-up Cody Paul, and only the real ones know who Cody Paul was. In 2006, this little pasty Caucasian white boy in Pee Wee football dropped a highlight tape to Make It Rain by Fat Joe, and every single one of us white boys started putting on bands and everything else trying to be the next Cody Paul. Now, I think he fizzled out and went like D3 as a dual threat quarterback, but still, that highlight tape is probably the most viewed highlight tape of all time, and that's how McCaffrey is now doing it in the league.
Man, y'all boys like a little bit of that McCaffrey. I think I tapped into something just there, man. Hey, listen, man.
That's our Jesus, baby.
Hey, I'm gonna go right here to this right here, man. The Prince or the Frog? Tony said he want this one first, man. I just gotta ask y'all. Lover boy, wonder boy, the Prince, whatever you want to call him. 1 and 2 in arguably the worst division in football. Winning percentage-wise. Is he a Prince or is he a frog, Tony?
I'll tell you right now, he looks like he's surrounded by a bunch of frogs. Is what I'm gonna say, because it ain't on Trevor Lawrence right now. Could he play better? Yeah, every quarterback could play better. But I mean, you look at these games. They're very winnable games. Who did they just lose to this past weekend?
I had to look it up.
Texans.
The Texans. A rookie quarterback and a rookie defense. They let freaking Will Anderson tear them up.
They lost at home as well.
At home. Their defense, I mean, it don't matter what Trevor Lawrence. Didn't they gave like 35, didn't they? You get 35 up to
31. Yeah. Come on now. 70 points in Broncos. Stop it.
I mean, that's awful too, but I'm just saying but the Broncos, at least they got a great quarterback. The freaking Texans got a rookie.
Hey, stop there right there, though. A 906 yards, 7.5 yards an attempt, 64% completion rate, top 5 in the NFL. CJ Stroud.
Yeah. He's not playing horrible. He's got some weapons down there, but at the same time,
he's a rookie.
The Jacksonville Jaguars created one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history. I'm pretty sure it was last year in the playoffs. Their defense is supposed to be for real this year. Their offense is supposed to be for real this year. And I'm going to pick on my Alabama guy. Calvin Ridley can't catch a cold standing naked in Alaska. I mean, he dropped 4 passes in his numbers. I don't care who you are as a quarterback. If you put it in a dude's chest, they're supposed to catch the dang ball. And he ain't the only one. Trevor Lawrence, like I said, he's not playing to the elite level that I expect him to be at, but he's still pretty damn good. And the people around him got to play better. It's a Trevor Lawrence and ETN show right now. Everybody else is letting me down on the Jaguars. I still got them winning division. I got them thumping the Falcons tomorrow. On Sunday morning. First thing in the morning. I don't even drink coffee. I might get up and make me a glass.
Falcons going to win that game. What's up, Havoc?
But he's the Prince.
Man, don't even get me started. Tony almost took the words out of my mouth. Trevor Lawrence is absolutely a prince. And like he said, the main culprit for this is Calvin Ridley, who we're paying my Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm a Cowboys and Jaguars fan, 2 different teams. So for those who want to argue, now we're paying Calvin Ridley $11 million. Week 1, he had 8 catches, and he has been – I don't know what happened to him after week 1. He has been dropping the ball ever since. He can do the hard part, which is get open. Guys, a lot of our offense depends on Calvin Ridley. So this offense is Calvin Ridley centric. So when he drops the ball, it crushes a lot of the momentum, not just for Trevor Lawrence, who is a prince, by the way, but for the entire team. We're paying this guy number 1 receiver money. We downgraded Christian Kirk to the number 3 receiver slot so Calvin Ridley can get more playing time, and Christian Kirk had over 1,000 yards last year. Calvin Ridley is the main reason that Trevor Lawrence play has gone down the last 2 weeks. If Calvin Ridley could watch the football into his hands and catch it and do what we're paying him good money to do, this would be different. Now, one more thing about the Jaguars. As far as with Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley's not the only guy dropping the football, guys. Evan Ingram's had some drops. So, like Tony said, he almost took the words out of my mouth, man. It's not Trevor. The players around Trevor need to play better and finish catching the football, especially, and I don't mean to keep bringing his name up, Calvin Ridley. You guys remember week 1 how much I praised him. Well, until he starts playing better, he's not getting that same praise.
They do got the Falcons this week, though, his former team, Havoc, so he should have a big game.
Let's hope
I wonder
so.
who he's betting on.
Watch the ball.
That's a great point, but I'm telling y'all right now, don't get drunk on that. What Havoc talking about, like they're going to have a comeback. The Atlanta Falcons on Pixar Toy Story, making history in London, they beat the Jaguars. And since we're talking about smelly players, I'm going to go ahead and cue up the premier segment of the week, Dumpster Juice. And Coach Price is going to let us know who is straight trash in the NFL.
Well, first off, it's so much trash, and this is one big route. It goes all over the United States. I mean, you got to have the right amount of money to pay for the diesel to get you to all these spots you got to go to. But our first stop for this trash pickup is going to be in Chicago. And we're going to go to Justin Fields, and we're going to drag you out, and we're going to throw you into the dumpster, because right now what you're doing in Chicago and everything, and your attitude and blaming coaches for your failures, dude, you are straight trash. After we get through with Justin, we're going to drive on up to New York. And we're going to go find Daniels. And we're going to throw him all bruised up like a big old bag of apples. And we're going to throw him into the dumpster because, Zach, you're playing like, Daniels, you're playing like straight trash. Then we're going to hop across the street to your neighbor. And we're going to stay in New York. And we're going to get Zach Wilson. And, buddy, your trash stinks just as much as Daniel's trash is. But the truck ain't full yet. So let me stop at the store and get some diesel, and I'm finna drive it all the way up to Denver, Colorado, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't Russell Wilson, it ain't Sean Payton, it's the entire staff in Denver. Y'all the ones that just filled the truck up, because that entire organization right now is straight trash. And by the time we get through dumping all this trash off at the landfill that the Denver Broncos has piled off into my truck, I'm about to take it out back and I'm about to set it on fire, because the stench that the Broncos are going to leave in it is second to none.
And you heard it straight from the coach, and he just brought you dumpster juice for that. Coach, I didn't know you're going to be driving diesels, man.
Hey, when you going all around the United States picking up this much trash, dog, you got to get something that's going to burn a long time.
Y'all, that's too much. I'm going to bring it back to our pick'ems for the week, fellas. And as you can see, Dylan, he's been cheating again. And he's at the top. And but take a look at Beast of Kane now. Take a look at mine for this week. I picked up a few games on some of these dudes.
A lot of people picked up games on Tony.
Yeah. At least I'm above Dalton and Kalen. So I'm happy about that. And
y'all know top two after this week.
Y'all know Tony Dunn picking these upsets.
No, yeah, he done with that. He gonna start.
Yeah, that's it.
He done with that.
I'll save my upset for tomorrow's show.
Okay, no, we're gonna do something real quick before we get out of here, and then I'm gonna hand it back to Mr. Steve Dalton. We're gonna pick these games.
But the one thing we didn't get was, I didn't get to find out if Trevor was a frog or a prince.
Oh,
well, let us know.
Well, since we don't want to make any of the hometown people upset with me, we're gonna call Trevor a good frog. And not only is he a good frog, but he's the prettiest frog, and he's the prettiest frog in the world. And if anybody's got any clue what the prettiest frog in the world is, it's the blue poison dart frog. That's when they out in the jungle and they rub the poison off of the frog onto their arrows, and then they shoot and they kill whatever it is they're hunting. Well, that's what Trevor Lawrence is, because the man is deadly when he's on target. But a lot of his arrows are hit and miss. And the reason why there are a lot of hit and misses is because of that guy, Calvin Ridley, who can't get shot with a Trevor Lawrence dart to save his life. But to me, Trevor Lawrence right now, you're a frog, and maybe y'all should call Taylor Swift to come give you a kiss to turn you back into a prince.
Woo! Drop the mic, coach. Drop the mic all the way, baby. Man, that's too good, man. I tell you right now, every week to week, man, you continue to impress me, man. Hey, look, let's pick these games, hand it back, and then we're going to be out of here, man. You know, we're just going to go down, pick the teams real quick, and let it go, all right? Let's start from the left, go down, then pop over to the right and go down. Can y'all see that pretty good, or do I need to call them out? Can y'all see them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Dalton, start with you. Just pick them fast.
All right, I got the Lions. I think they're going to beat the Packers. Rams, Vikings, even though they're 0-3. Tragic ending that last game. I'm going to ride with the Buccaneers still. They'll be 3-1 after this weekend. Oh, my God, the toilet bowl here in the Broncos and Bears.
Better don't swing the pick.
I'm gonna go the Broncos. My God, I don't know. I'll wait till Friday night to pick that game. Steelers, Texans. You know what? I think the Steelers defense, they're going to come up with a win here. Cardinals, 49ers, this is going to be a rout. 49ers up big. Chiefs and Jets, they might end the program in New York after this game. Chiefs up by 80. Falcons and Jaguars from London. Jaguars, the United Kingdom's team. Ravens, Browns. You know what? I'm still going Browns. I picked them last week. I'm going to pick them again this week. I think they upset the Ravens, and that would make them go first in the division, I believe. Bengals, Titans. I'm going to go Bengals. They're probably going to prove me wrong, but I'll go Bengals. Dolphins and Bills. This is the best game of the week, in my opinion. I'm going the Buffalo Bills. I think they shock a lot of people and beat the Dolphins. The Commanders and Eagles. I told you the Commanders would fall off last week. They're going to fall off even harder this week. The Eagles win big. Raiders, Chargers. I don't know how the Chargers won last week, only because of Kirk Cousins. I'm going Raiders. I don't have any faith in the Chargers.
Wow.
Patriots, Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Cowboys, so maybe my Patriots win, because every time I picked them to win, they've lost. Seahawks, Giants. The Seahawks will run rampant on Daniel Jones and will turn him into a real estate agent.
Tony.
All right. I'm going to go with the Lions going into Lambeau and getting the win. I think the Rams bounce back against the Colts, regardless of who's the quarterback. I think the Vikings go into Carolina and get a win. I'm going to agree with Dalton. I think the Bucs go into New Orleans and get a win. I don't believe in that Saints offense. We got a trend right now with the away team, and guess what? It ain't going to stop now. The Broncos looked bad last week, but they ain't Bears bad. The Broncos win in Chicago. And we're going to continue with the away team winning right here.
What?
The Steelers go into Houston, and they win a close one. Not a big one, but a close one against the Texans. Now we get back to where things are supposed to be. 49ers mollywop the Cardinals at home. I think this game's actually going to be closer than what people think just because the Jets' defense is so good, but I'm still
Man, you crazy. Stop it.
Chiefs still win, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Jaguars, they stomped the Falcons. Desmond Ridder is cheeks, as Jared Cole would say. I'm going to shout him out. Cheeks, Desmond Ridder. Unless Bijan Robinson goes wild, they lose, and they lose bad. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns to beat the Ravens. This is, once again, two quarterbacks that are both overrated, in my opinion. But I think Watson gets it done. I want to pick the Bengals, but I'm going with Titans because if the Titans don't win this week, their season's done. Plain and simple. This is a must-win for the Titans. They just got embarrassed last week by the Browns. Like, shut down. Dolphins go into Buffalo, and they win. Josh Allen chokes every time they play the Dolphins, and he'll do it again. He will do it again, just like last year when they needed 3 yards, and he threw the ball 1 yard into the ground. He choked. And the Dolphins, Eagles smack the Commanders. I want to go with Dalton on this one, but I'm not. Chargers win simply because their offense is better than the Raiders. Patriots go into Dallas and give them their second straight loss. And then the last one, this is tough for me because you never know what you're going to get with Geno Smith. But I'm rolling with Pete Carroll and the Seahawks.
You better roll with him. What's up, Abby?
All right, so I'm going to go with the Packers to upset the Lions. Jordan Love's been playing at a high level, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. The next game, I got to go with the Rams over the Colts. Then I may be foolish for this, but I'm going to pick the Vikings over the Panthers. I know the Vikings have had a lot of issues with throwing games away. Then the next game is at Buccaneers Saints. I'm going to go with, against my better judgment, I'm going to actually pick the Buccaneers. I wasn't going to go with the Saints, but I'm not going to. I'm picking the Bucs. They're playing at a high level right now, and I think their momentum is going to continue. Next, Broncos and Bears. Guys, this one was hard for me. Going to go with the Broncos only because I just think Sean Payton, I don't think he's going to start out 0-4. Then the next game, Steelers, Texans. I got to go with the Steelers for this one. Next game, Cardinals, 49ers. 49ers for sure. Chiefs, Jets. The Chiefs. Falcons, Jaguars. As much as I don't want to pick the Jaguars because of how badly Calvin Ridley's been playing, I'm going to predict Calvin Ridley to turn it around this week and have a big game against his former team, and we're going to beat the Falcons in London. And the next game, the Ravens and Browns. I might surprise a lot of people here, but I'm going to go with the Ravens. I just think Lamar Jackson has more around him than Deshaun Watson does, and they have a better overall team. Then the Bengals and Titans. I want to go with Joe Burrow, but I do think he's still injured, so I'm going to go with Tennessee here. Dolphins, Bills. I'm going with the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, as I've been saying, he's got to be the front runner for MVP, and I'm going to stick with Tua and the Dolphins. Then the next game, Commanders and Eagles. Got to be the Eagles. They're just a dominant team right now. Chargers and Raiders. Going to surprise some people here. I'm going with the Raiders. I've been very open and honest as far as the Chargers coaching situation. I don't love Josh McDaniels, but he's a better coach than Brandon Staley. And then Patriots, Cowboys. I got to go with my Cowboys. I do respect and personally love Bill Belichick, but we just have a better team when it comes to talent right now. And then finally, the last game, Seahawks and Giants. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks in that one.
Dylan.
Alrighty. Honestly, this first game is the toughest one for me to pick because it's so hard to go into Lambeau to win. And Jordan Love has been playing, honestly, better than I think he is. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions just because they got a really young, really fast, good defense. After that, I'm going to go Gardner Minshew. I don't know the spread, but I would imagine the Colts are the underdog. I'm gonna go with Gardner Minshew getting that done with the Colts. Let's go with Vikings in a shootout against the Panthers. They get it done. Saints. I think Saints have a top 3 defense in the NFL. They will beat the Bucs. Bears, Broncos. Who gives a shit? Steelers, Texans. I'm gonna keep riding with Stroud, man. He's been playing out of his mind. I'm gonna say he keeps it up. Cardinals, 49ers a lot, Cardinals a little. Chiefs, I'm with Tony. I think it's gonna be a closer game than what people expect just because the Jets defense is so good, but the Chiefs pull it out. Falcons are going to they're going to say Andy's coming and all the Jaguars are going to fall down and the Falcons are going to beat the Jaguars.
Period.
And then look, I like the cut of the jib when it comes to the Browns. I think they're made different. I think they all have that Nick Chubb type mentality there. I think they get a win over the Ravens. Titans, Bengals, yeah. This is win or go home for the season for the Titans, but I think they're going to go home. And you can go ahead and mark this down. I think their season's done after they lose this, and then eventually this season they will trade Derrick Henry. And then I'm going to go with the Dolphins to outscore the Bills late, probably like a 34-31 game. Eagles, again, the best defensive front in the game. They're going to smash the Commanders. Chargers, Raiders. Oh, God. I'll just go with the home team on that one. Give me the Chargers. I think, look, the Cowboys just lost a game they shouldn't have. They looked awful. You would expect a bounce back in a home game, but I think Belichick's got something for him, and I think Mac Jones gets it done with the upset. And then give me Geno Smith and the Seahawks with a big win over the Giants.
Coach.
All right. I like the Packers. It's hard to beat them in Lambeau. Jordan Love is at a high level right now. I think he'll actually get it done. It'll actually be a closer game. I look at a field goal winning this one. Second game, I'm going with the Rams. Third game, both teams hadn't won a ball game. So, like Mike Tyson said when he fought Michael, one always gotta go. So, give me the Vikings. Give me the Bucks over the Saints. It's Broncos and Bears. Both of y'all still locked up in the back of that damn dumpster, so it don't even matter which one of y'all come seeping out of there. Some juice got to come out of a crack somewhere, so I guess it'll be the Bronco juice. Give me. I think actually the Texans will beat the Steelers. I think Pickett is gonna have one of the worst days in his career, and Mike Tomlin is gonna really have to make some type of decision on what he's gonna do. So look for the Texans to win that ball game. 49ers Cardinals, the 49ers finna turn them into just bird feathers. So we ain't even got to go that far on it. The Chiefs and the Jets, the Chiefs are gonna get this one. I think it's gonna be a close game. It'll come down to, I think, a turnover late in the fourth quarter, which will give the Chiefs a win. Like y'all said, it's gonna be a closer game. The only thing that's gonna get it to a 10 to a 13-point game is gonna be a late turnover and a score by the Jets deep in the, their own territory. Jags and Falcons. Well, all I can say is if Trevor Lawrence is the blue frog and he puts the poison on that dart, he'll knock a falcon right out of the sky. But I don't see Calvin Ridley catching anything, considering the fact you're going to be not only in another country and time zone, buddy. I know you ain't woke up yet, because half of us won't even be awake to watch the ball game. So give me the Falcons over the Jags in that. It's the Ravens and the Browns. I said this is going to be a tight matchup because even though the Browns has got, some form of running game right now after losing Nick Chubb, you don't have Chubb on the other side. So therefore, who is going to stop Roquan Smith from blasting whatever running back for Cleveland in the mouth? So give me the Ravens in that. I like the Bengals over the Titans. I just think that, this is going to be the week where a team like the Titans, whose secondary isn't one of the best ones in the league, that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow finally find some type of rhythm that we can start feeding off of until they get smoked in the game after that. And then Dolphins and Bills. This one to me goes all the way back to who is the GOAT. And Bill Belichick, to me, is the GOAT, and that's the reason why his name is Bill, because he's a Billy badass, and I think he's going to be the one who's going to hand the Dolphins their first loss this season, and I'm going with the Bills in that game. Commanders and Eagles all the way. Like I said, my dynamic duo. You're not getting past Carter. You're not getting past that defense. Period. I don't care who you are. As far as the Raiders and the Chargers, I take Herbert over Garoppolo any day. So give me the Chargers. Hold on, wait a minute. I said the Bills and the Dolphins, not that Bill. So let me rewind it. I got the Dolphins over the Buffalo Bills, but I got the Billy Goat
a little bit, Coach.
Bill over the Cowboys. That's who I was looking for. So I got Bill Belichick, who's the Billy Badass, over the Cowboys. And as far as the Seahawks and Giants, man, the Seahawks are going to go ahead, knock the Giants right out of the box, and going to force me to go back to that damn address again next week just to pick up some trash.
Real quick, I'm gonna knock mine out. I think the Lions are gonna win that game. I'm gonna go Rams. Can't go with the Panthers. I just can't. Give me the Vikings. Baker Mayfield. God, who's the Saints quarterback right now?
It's probably gonna be
Carr's injured. It's Jameis.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Oh,
yeah.
Give the crab leg.
Yes, sir.
Give me crab legs himself. He'll win. He definitely gonna win. Okay, and give me Broncos I really want to pick the Texans, man. Just go ahead and give me the Texans. 49ers, Chiefs. I'm going with them Dirty Birds. Man, I don't think Jackson gonna go into Cleveland and lose. Give me the Ravens. Bengals.
Hey man, they just lost to Gardner Minshew.
I don't care, man. And that's why they're gonna have to bounce back. And right now, I just cannot bet against the Dolphins. Not for this. I just don't know who can beat them. Really, how they playing now. Give me the Eagles. And I can't believe y'all took Garoppolo over Herbert, but just give me Herbert.
I got Herbert.
Yeah, and I'm taking the Cowboys. I don't believe I'm still on the fence with Mac, and I'm on the fence with Billy Badass too. And then I ended up with the Seahawks. What's up, Dalton?
Now I want to switch that up. I meant Dolphins over the Bills. I just had Bill Belichick being the Billy Goat with them big old jangly nails bouncing around New England. But I got the Dolphins in that game.
Well, let me just end it with my final thought, okay? The only thing that will make me puke quicker than a group of Billy swangers, if you want to call it, okay, is if I turn on the TV Sunday night and I see this absolute witch in the press box and Taylor Swift at this game in New York and Kansas City's playing, okay, I'm going to turn the TV off first. Then I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to puke all over the toilet. I ain't going to even try to hit inside the toilet. I'm going to make somebody clean it up because that's the disgust that I have for this duo in Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with that. As soon as Travis loses a game or, let's say he gets hurt or he's out of it, she's going to go to the next one just like she did John Mayer. She made him go to the Wacky Shack. Travis Kelce will be in the Wacky Shack next, and the Kansas City Chiefs will be in the toilet or in Coach Price's dumpster juice in a couple years if this trend continues. Taylor Swift, go make a song about somebody else, not Travis Kelce. Okay, I'm on end there. Okay, but this has been the NFL show hosted by your host Barry Wilson, Bisa Kane himself. This is the Chopping Block Podcast presented by DJ's Clam Shack here in St. Augustine, Florida, with locations in Key West and Indian Shores. Dylan, go ahead.
Barry, drop that shit for me.
Yeah, we about to do it. Watch us get into it. We some lumberjacks.